Friday Eve, and it's Weather for Weather Geeks time as we gear up for the weekend, and we finally have some changes coming our way after just a fantastic day today. It's kind of the last time we're going to talk about a fantastic, unseasonably warm day for quite some time. Our high today was in the mid-60s, and that's probably the last time we're going to see that number for a while. This is actually the second Thursday in a row we've done 66 at the airport. Now, when you factor in both highs and lows through the first half and plus one day of the month of November, we're running a degree above the average, but much of the next week to 10 days, maybe even longer, will be below the average temperature-wise, so that number will ultimately change. But today, what a stunner of an afternoon. Sunshine, some fair weather cirrus clouds, 17 warmer than the average. Our average high is 49 here in mid-November, but 66 today. The record was 70, so not record territory, but still a real treat for this time of the year. Changes are afoot, though. Here's our cold front, real easy to spot across the upper Midwest this evening. You go from near 70 in St. Louis to 33 in Bismarck, and that air mass change is coming east. The first thing we'll see, of course, is rain, and then the cooler air will be here in time for the upcoming weekend. Now, the front is not exactly squeezing out a lot of moisture this evening. That's going to change tomorrow, though, as this starts to tap into some moisture streaming in from the Gulf of Mexico. So you don't see a lot of rain on the national radar this evening, but by tomorrow afternoon, most of Ohio and western PA will, in fact, be getting pretty wet. Don't forget, you can check out the hourly forecasts anytime on the Storm Tracker 21 app. Make sure you have that app downloaded if you haven't downloaded it already. I'm a little biased, of course, but I think it's the best weather app for our area. Lots of human input into that app. Most weather apps, of course, are automated, computer-generated forecasts. Ours has a lot of human input into it, including the hourly forecast, which forecasters here in the Storm Tracker 21 Weather Center, we massage that data every day. And so what you see here is the end result of our team kind of breaking down the hourly rain chances for tomorrow. You'll see these same numbers on the app. We expect a pretty soggy midday, afternoon, very early evening on Friday, with decreasing rain chances a couple of hours after sunset Friday evening. As far as how much rain to expect, keep in mind at the airport we've only had 0.03, 3/100ths of an inch so far in November. We should eclipse that pretty easily in just a matter of a half an hour or so at times on our Friday, and we're probably ultimately headed towards about a half an inch or so worth of rain. There's a little bit of a computer model spread, but not as big of a spread as yesterday. You expect that as you get closer to an event when we examine our suite of computer models. Usually the uncertainty starts to go down, the spread starts to decrease in the model solutions. You see that with rain, snow, and all types of weather. So here's our cold front. The actual frontal passage will be towards about dinner time, towards about sunset Friday evening, and after spending the afternoon in the 50s, it'll be a fairly sharp drop in our temperatures in time for our local high school football playoff games Friday evening. But the good news in terms of rain is, if you are attending one of those playoff games Friday evening, or doing anything else that involves being out and about around dinner time, the rain chances look to decrease fairly rapidly by 7 or 8 o'clock. So the second half of the football games should be better than the first halves, and then the sky will clear overnight, and we're expecting a pretty quiet weekend. You'll notice the wind direction here. That's a north-northwest wind, so it's a chilly breeze. This next front will come through a little fanfare Saturday night into Sunday morning, just reinforcing the cool a little bit, but otherwise you'll need the shades for much of the upcoming weekend. All right, so weekend forecast breaking down like this. 66 today, 50s tomorrow, and then 46 for the daytime high on Saturday, 48 on Sunday. And as I mentioned, the averages at this time of the year are in the upper 40s, so overall a fairly typical weekend before the Thanksgiving holiday. And speaking of the Thanksgiving holiday, rain's coming our way, it looks like on Tuesday. It looks like blustery, chilly weather will be the rule for the big travel day before Thanksgiving on Wednesday, Thanksgiving itself on Thursday, and actually the whole holiday weekend looks pretty cool east of the Rockies this time around. Not earth-shattering cold, nothing that's going to set records or be memorable in many respects, but it'll be pretty chilly. Now, as far as any snow chances, I can't rule out a flurry or two later Tuesday night, Wednesday night, maybe even on Thanksgiving itself. But I do think that more substantial snow will be a possibility, mostly in western New York, northwest PA. This, isn't exactly a northwest flow kind of a setup. It's more of a west-southwest flow, which would aim a lot of our lake effect probably towards Erie, towards Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties in southwest New York, up towards Wyoming and Erie counties in New York. That's the greater Buffalo area. This is just one model depiction. Surely the amounts are going to be different than what is shown here by the modeling, but you get a sense as to what's possible. I think in our TV viewing area, this is just too much west-southwest flow to be much of a big-ticket item for us. It's just going to be blustery and cold. All right, the Climate Prediction Center, part of the U.S. government, part of NOAA, part of the National Weather Service, put out their initial December outlook today. They updated their winter forecast as well. Let's talk about that. This is their first stab at the month of December, showing odds favoring above-average warmth, pretty much Mississippi River and east, roughly, including in our area. Now compare that to our December forecast, which was part of our winter forecast, put out a week ago today. Pretty similar map. You notice the oranges and reds are generally in the same areas. I am a little more confident that it'll be a cooler than average December in the western U.S., but it's not a screaming signal out there. It's more of a stout signal east of the Mississippi that we're going to get off to a mild start this winter in the month of December. Now, as far as meteorological winter, December, January, and February. Here's a look at their updated outlook. Again, this is the CPC outlook, Climate Prediction Center, showing near average temperatures favored out here. Otherwise, warmth compared to the average favored in the northwest, across the northern tier of states as well. That was their forecast. Here's a look at our winter forecast. Again, you saw this last week when I put it out as part of our winter forecast a week ago this evening. Generally the same idea. Warmer than average temperatures favored the farther north you are. Cooler than average favored to the south. Our map looks a little bit different, but the overall idea is the same. But I do think this will be a highly variable winter. It may be a tale of two seasons. One that's pretty benign to start. December may be just a continuation of October and November for a while, but then flipping the switch after the first of the year will be a distinct possibility. It's possible that this coming January and February in our area will be much different than December and much different than last January and February in 2023, which both months were remarkably warm and snow-free. We only had about a half an inch worth of snow at the airport in February. That means if you were south of the airport in February of 2023, you basically had no snow all month long. And I don't think we're going to see a repeat of that this winter. That'll do it for me on Weather for Weather Geeks on this Thursday evening. Have a great rest of your night, and thank you as always for tuning in.